Howdy doody, everyone. Welcome back to the Hold the Line Sports channel. Testing out a bit different intros, gone like, yo, what's going on, everybody? Let's see how Howdy Doody does. Let me know which one you like. But today we're gonna go over the top five ACC quarterbacks. Um, Sorry for getting this out later than normal. Usually we do about Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. We only had one go out on Saturday, and then this one will probably be out on Sunday. Um, Crazy busy week here. I was crazy at work, and then also I started a diet that has been going horribly. For anyone starting the carnivore, do it. It works. It works. But it's not easy. But nonetheless, we can get into our top five ACC quarterbacks. Honorable mentions to Darian Mensah, the transfer from Tulane to Duke, to Eli Holstein at Pitt, and then there's a couple other guys that were pretty close as well. But I think this top five is pretty locked in. Top five. Some people may have my guy at four out of the top five, maybe Darian Mensah in there. But this is my top five. It's pretty. I'd say the top three is locked in stone, 1,000%. But other than that, let's get into it. So my number five is Kevin Jennings. I think he is, really dynamic, really good, and he took over for the job. I think like 3 games in, and he played really well. He obviously took SMU to a playoff. That's very tough to do. But the one thing I think that knocked him is he will not only have a tougher schedule this year, and my rankings are based on how I think they're going to play this year, not going into the year. He has a tougher schedule, and the ACC defense that he played last year were not good. SMU had a really easy schedule. He played, I think I counted 2 good defenses on his schedule. Clemson's not what it was, and then he played BYU and Penn State. Both those games were his 2 worst games when he played like a serviceable defense, because BYU's was good, Penn State's was elite, and he threw 3 picks, 2 pick sixes in that game. BYU's was pretty good, and they only scored like 15 points, and he had like 150 passing yards. But he obviously is probably one of the most dynamic quarterbacks in the ACC. Very good at running the ball, very good legs. But he also took over for Preston Stone, who was kind of sucking it up and just pulled away in that QB job race. Like 3,200 passing yards, 23 passing touchdowns, good QBR at 70.3, and then you see the rushing yards as well. The one thing that took him down was he can be very erratic. He throws a lot of interceptions. I believe in the Duke game they had like 5 turnovers and still somehow won. He had 3 picks in the Penn State game, as I said earlier. When it goes right, it's right. But when it goes wrong, it is wrong for Kevin Jennings. So that's why I got him at number 5. Number 4, this might be a little hot take. I like Millie Mouse a lot. We saw what he did against LSU last year in the first game of the year. He threw for like 400 yards and was really good. And I think, he was under Lincoln Riley, good quarterback mind. It's just that team around him just wasn't good. I hate to break it to you. And then he's now under a really good quarterback mind as well in Jeff Brom. So 2,500 passing yards, 18 passing touchdowns, 74.4 QBR, so better than Kevin Jennings. 9 picks, and he only had 9 starts. He lost the starting role to Jaden Maiava, but I think they just kind of knew the writing was on the wall at that point. Miller's an older guy. I believe this is last year of eligibility, and Maiava's a younger guy. So they just kind of brought him in, and I think they knew that Miller was going to transfer at that point because they were not giving him a team to succeed. I really do think he's going to be in a good system here at Louisville. I don't think he's going to be asked to do a ton, which is kind of what helped him in that LSU game. He was not asked, like he threw the ball well and he threw it a lot, but it was because the run game was actually really good against LSU. That's why he was able to pick apart that defense. I think against ACC defenses with a solid run game at Louisville. And a good offense there, and a good O-line, I think he's going to do well there. So I think, and we've seen his ceiling. And his first start ever, he threw like 6 touchdowns, and then his next start, he threw like 3 touchdowns and like 400 yards. The ceiling is there. And that's why I'm going to bet on Miller Moss and have him at 4 in the top 4 ACC quarterbacks. And now we can get into the top 3, which I think the top 3 in the ACC can rival any top 3 in all of college football. It could be better than the Big Ten. It could be better than the SEC, really. I mean, they have a lot of experience there. I think that's why. But yeah, this top 3 is legit. At 3, I have Haynes King at Georgia Tech. Played hurt a lot of last year and still kind of dominated. Like 73% completion percentage, really good. Unorthodox throwing style, so it looks a little weird, but it gets the job done. 2,100 passing yards. There was like one game, I think it was the Miami game, he legitimately could not throw, and they still upset Miami. So pretty good. 14 passing touchdowns, 2 interceptions, not going to turn the ball over at all. And then 587 rushing yards, 11 rushing touchdowns. If you saw that Georgia game, Georgia Tech should have won. Georgia should not have won that game. There was some questionable calls there for sure, but it was in Athens. What do you expect? But Haynes King was so good in that game. He was basically dead. You ever heard of if you guys play college football, the wear and tear system? Everything was red on him, and yet he was still dominating that Georgia defense for half the time. It was just literally the last play of the game, like 9 overtimes later, he was dead, and they ran a QB draw, and he couldn't do nothing, which I would be too if I was him. So I think he's going to be really good this year. Another year of experience, 6th year in college. I don't think he's going to get drafted super high, if at all. But I mean, he's got that dog in him. Everyone knows that. Haynes King has that dog in him. The only reason I don't have him higher is because he has to deal without Eric Singleton this year. Eric Singleton gone to Auburn. So top target basically gone, but Justice Haynes is back. I believe that's his name, is back at Georgia Tech. If I just screwed something up majorly there, and let me know, I don't know ball. Believe that's his name. Yeah. Haynes King, dog mentality, going to get the job done in a sneaky Georgia Tech team here that I have going to the ACC championship. So we'll see. I love Brent Key. I love Haynes King, and I love this team. So I think he's going to be really, really good this year. Number 2 kind of depends on his health, and it's Carson Beck. As we know, he tore his UCL in the SEC championship game. So he's missing a lot of spring practice. I believe he's throwing now, and he's been playing a lot better, or playing a lot in practice now. But missing that time does hurt. But we've seen Carson Beck at his peak when he had an O-line at Georgia, and I wouldn't say like crazy receivers, but really good ones in Lad. I mean, these are crazy receivers: Lad McConkey and Brock Bowers. Yeah, they were really good. But what we have seen with Carson Beck now is he has to have an O-line. He has to have time to throw the ball. If he doesn't have that, he's going to panic and throw the ball up, and it's going to cause a lot of mistakes. I believe he had like 12 interceptions last year, and in the Bama game he had 3, in the Florida game he had 3, and there was like another game where like it was like almost like his 3 biggest games of the year. In Texas he had 3, like 3 big games of the year. And I know Florida wasn't great, but it's a big rivalry. He had like 9 of his 12 interceptions. So basically, if they had their game plan right, like he was not able to do it. But obviously, that's SEC defense. ACC defense is completely different. I think he's going to be able to pick apart ACC defense as the guy at number 1 was able to last year after struggling the year before. But yeah, 3,400 passing yards, 28 passing touchdowns. It was literally just the 12 interceptions that kind of broke him down. And I think, it was wildly disappointing last year because he probably came into the year as the Heisman favorite because he was so good the year before. But he also had a way better team. That Georgia team was really good. Don't get me wrong. But there was a lot of flaws. Defense wasn't as great. And I think the main thing that hurt him was O-line wasn't good and the run game wasn't good. He was asked to do a lot. Carson Beck is not a quarterback that needs to be asked to do a lot, because if you just let the D-line just sit back and tee off on Carson Beck, it's going to affect him and it's going to cause him to make a lot of mistakes. But number 1, Cade Klubnik. This guy, to some people is the Heisman favorite. I'd say he's probably the betting favorite right now. I think I'd have a guy ahead of him, but Cade Klubnik put up really good numbers last year. 36 passing touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 78.7 QBR, and he's able to run the ball as well. 7 rushing touchdowns on the year. He had that big one against Pitt when they were losing, kind of kept them basically from dying in the race to the college football playoff, even though everyone thought they were dead until Syracuse beat Miami and put them in. Then they were like, oh, Clemson's winning the ACC championship, which I mean, with this team, ACC championship win, that's great. The Clemson defense was not as good against the run last year. The receivers were okay. I think they're actually going to be really good this year. And the run game was okay. I do think the run game's not going to be that great this year. But Cade Klubnik is going to be asked to do a lot, and that's why he's going to put up numbers and probably be the best quarterback in the ACC, potentially the country. Because I don't think the run game is going to be good, but the wide receiver core is elite, probably top 5 in the country. So he might throw for 4,000 yards and 40 touchdowns, and along with rushing for 8 to 10 touchdowns as well. Cade Klubnik is going to be very good, and I really do think he's the best quarterback in the ACC. Like, I mean, have we seen him play? Like, he was really good against Texas. That was a really good defense, which, I mean, it kind of came back at the end once Texas was like not playing all that hard, I guess, on defense. But I do think he's going to be the best quarterback in the ACC. But yeah, guys, let me know what I missed. Let me know if there's anything that if I miss someone, if you think Minsa's in there instead of Jennings or Moss or something like that. If you think, I saw a lot of people thinking Jennings was higher than 5. If you think Haynes King is better than Carson Beck because Carson Beck was not really good and Haynes King was elite last year, just let me know what I missed and comment down below what your top 5 would be, and then we can compare and see who knows ball better. But yeah, please like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell to when you guys know when we upload so you can be our first comment, first view. Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys as always, and peace out.